You don't think I should bring them up
You
again
can
just to
if you
remind
want. You
myself?
can if you want. Look, it's shooting it raw. It's basically, it's a bit,
Okay, don't be too raw. Okay, it's not recording yet, is it?
of course.
Oh no, Ran, please don't record yet. Shooting it raw?
Yes, shooting it raw.
The art of living.
Yes. Fantastic.
You asked me for current photos, and so I sent you a current photo.
Well,
It was actually a flyer. The flyer.
yeah, well, where's your head at these days? So this is like the art of living. Now this it's like a flyer, and it says online meditation and breath workshop, uh, with Jacqui and Sabine, master your mind and live your best life. And the photo is a sunset on a beach with a woman just jumping, like getting serious air with her feet back and her arms splay like sort of up in the air and just looking just so happy with, bullet points of reduce stress, reduce anxiety, sleep better. So this has arguably a completely different direction than the previous three photos. So what is it? Please, let us into your world. What am I looking at?
Yeah, my polar opposite pastime. So, yeah, so during the day I work as a corporate sustainability consultant and advisor, technical advisor to the Hong Kong Sustainable Seafood Coalition, and I'm also on the steering committee. So that's all my day job, right? And I also do work for a local firm here called Insight, where I work to where I get opportunities to work with local companies here in South Africa. But that's all in my daytime. In my spare time, I'm an art of living teacher,
Oh wow.
and I'm basically a happiness program teacher. It's called the Happiness Program. And now that with COVID, everything's had to transition online, so which is why we have these online meditation and breath workshops, hence the flyer
Mm-hmm.
that you have advertising our course, I think that we had in June. And yeah, Sabine is my co-teacher. We've kind of partnered together during the COVID period. We've been teaching every month, once a month for the past year
Oh wow.
during this period. And it's been so much fun. Yeah, very cool to go online and teach these courses. And yeah, it's all about breath work. So we take people through, the breathing technique called the Sudarshan Kriya or Sky technique. And it's a rhythmic breathing that really gets them to release stress down to the cellular level. And to be able to sit there silently and quietly and meditate,
Mm-hmm.
basically. It's so
Mm-hmm.
hard to meditate. People sit and they say, oh, I try and meditate. My mind is so busy. And this is exactly what the breathing technique helps one to do. It
Mm.
helps them to sit quietly and just to get back in touch with their true nature.
Mm.
So
So
I really love teaching. Yeah.
wow. Okay. So how did that evolve out of your head? Look at your face. Look at your face. You're like totally smile. It's great. Look at you. Nice. I like it. I like it.
How did I find the art of living? Well, I had already discovered yoga practices when I was 21. My mom had asked me when I was still at university. My mom had said, "Oh, there's this thing called yoga happening down the road.
Okay.
This thing called yoga. Do you want to go and try it out?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, why not?" So I went along to a class with my mom. And it was in the back of somebody's house. It was in their garage. This woman, Carol, was teaching Iyengar yoga at the time. And we totally loved it. It
Mm-hmm.
just made so much sense to stretch the body in these different postures and to have that space just to decompress and to
Mm-hmm.
reflect. And it just made a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
it made us feel good. It really made us feel good. So, so that was my first introduction. And then I carried on practicing yoga throughout my adult life until, even into Hong Kong days, I was still going actively to yoga classes. And then at one point, a friend came over and visited me. She was coming from Canada at the time, and she said, "Oh, there's this breathing course called the Art of Living. Are you interested in maybe doing it?" And I was working as a consultant at CSR Asia at the time, so stressed out,
Mm-hmm.
working probably almost 6 days a week
Sure.
out of choice because we're very passionate as sustainability consultants. So and I needed something to balance that. So I did the breathing course and I absolutely loved it.
Nice.
And I never looked back. And I've been practicing it every morning since then, 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it was only when I transitioned back to South Africa that I decided to become a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Because one of the senior teachers here took me aside and says, "Why are you not teaching?" And I was like, no, I teach yoga on the side because I got my yoga teacher training while living in Hong Kong. That was another thing I discovered, or another thing I pursued, to do yoga teacher training for integral yoga, which I absolutely loved. It was one of the best decisions of my life. And I was teaching that a little bit on the sides. And he said, "Well, why are you not teaching Art of Living?" And I said, "Well, I teach a little bit of my integral yoga here and there." And he said, "Do you know how many people are stressed out in South Africa? Do you know how high the crime rate is? Do you know how high the depression rates are and anxiety?" And he says, "We need a lot more teachers."
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of roped me in that way. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I landed up on the teacher training program and I loved it. And it's true. There's so many stressed out people. So
Sure.
we do need more teachers.
So somebody, no, is it only for people in South Africa who can, like if somebody who listens to this and thinks, Jacqui is that special kind of crazy, weird, eccentric, whatever, that they want to kind of participate. Is it purely in South Africa or can you actually, people from around the world?
It's from all around the world. I think they've got in more than 150 countries now.
Sure.
So you can go and visit an Art of Living center in Hong Kong, in India, or obviously it comes from India, in the US, in Canada, in Argentina. There's a huge following in Argentina.
Oh, wow.
You think I'm quite enthusiastic. My gosh, you must meet the Argentinians. They fly high. We call it prana, prana is a subtle life force energy. And it's in us, all of us. But the higher your prana, the higher your energy. So those Argentinians, my word, yeah, they're full of prana. Anyway, so you can find these courses absolutely anywhere. And the beauty is once you've done it, usually it's kind of almost for free to continue doing it, the same course over and over. So, and you plus you get a weekly. We call them long career catch-ups. You do a weekly session for an hour, and it's almost like you have a reboot, like a holiday.
Yeah.
Just in that 1 hour, like you've gone off for a vacation and back again. So every week you get that catch-up for free. So it's just a really good balance to a busy life, put it that way.
So, okay, so I met you through CSR Asia at one of the events, and you're one of the presenters, and then years ago, and then life just happens and you ended up in South Africa and we reconnected, and then I said, okay, let's have you on the podcast because it'd be great. And so one of the main themes or the drivers actually of the podcast is that life is a gift and that we can make the most out of every second. We can make every second count. And one way of putting it is mindfulness. So, for example, ending on this note of the art of living, how about, or would you like to use this moment to make that connection either across your life? So from the photograph of the beach with the, World Ocean Day, your work, and then all this, because the common denominator across all of it is you, right? It's like who you are is, these are just expressions of who you are. So how would you connect? What would you say to somebody to have them go, hey, wait a second, let's connect with the art of living, or let's connect with making, like something optimistic.
I think actually, Rand, that's a very beautiful question.
I asked a question.
You basically said, you asked a question. I heard a question there. And it was, how do we see life as being an eternal gift? And I think, and I said earlier, by tapping into your true nature. So I mean, into that calm and peaceful state of mind where you can then be in a more positive state of mind. which is more your true nature, right? We get stressed in life because of how busy we get and the things that are putting demands on our time, but it's usually our mind linking to that. It's just the attachments that we have. If we actually learn how to detach in that busyness, we can remain in that calm state no matter what's happening around us. And the more our energy is enhanced and the more that positivity is enhanced, the more active we can get in general. And the more purposeful we become and perhaps useful for society. And to answer your question, how do we see life as this eternal gift? One thing I did want to bring up is the act of volunteering.
Okay.
And I think when we tap into our more true positive self, and we want to go and do things for the world, we're no longer just focused on ourselves, but we're actually looking a little bit more beyond ourselves. So into the community. First, it's your family. You do service for your family. So you're active volunteering for your family. You're looking after your kids. It's the biggest service anyone can do in this world, I think, is bring kids to look after them, to allow them to grow up and to have healthy, safe lives so that they can become adults and live out their true calling in life. But then even beyond that, you're looking at your community, you're looking at broader society, and then you're looking at the broader world. And for me, it's that sense of belongingness that you have. So with your family, it's obvious, you're connected to them. There's a lot of belongingness. Then you're looking at your community. How much is that sense of belongingness with your community? I think how active you are in that community is your sense of how much belongingness you have with them. And then society at large, and then the world at large. And when you start to feel that belongingness with absolutely everyone and everything, you start taking responsibility for it.
Sure.
And that's really where things, I think, start moving in the right direction, is when everyone is taking responsibility for any problems that we have in the world. So not just, leaving it to somebody else to figure out, but you actively can get involved in whatever it is. And it just, the sense of purpose you get from that as well is incredible. You just get this energy boost from being actively involved in some volunteering initiative or some project. So I would really highly recommend anyone with any skill in life, whatever it might be that you've been born with, go and give it out freely, because the world needs it and you need it.
You're great. Jacqui, thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Gosh, Ran, it's such a pleasure.
Okay, listen.
Okay, it's such a pleasure. Thank you.
I thank you so much. I am going to actually use this moment now to go volunteer my time to go take care of my daughter, because I have to drive her to a different thing.
That's such an active service.
Okay, thank you so much, Jacqui. Have a great day.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ran. Okay, take care.
So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.